We usually assume that a society's success depends on staying connected. The more trade, data, and networking you have, the more power you gain. But Japan, one of the most technologically advanced nations on the planet, built its strength on a different model. They achieved world power status by essentially turning off the world for 2 centuries. This wasn't a partial slowdown. They banned international trade, barred foreign influence, and made it a capital offense to leave the island. In a modern world where falling behind the technological curve feels like a death sentence, Japan's history suggests a strange possibility that unplugging completely might actually be a path to long-term survival. Long before the borders closed, Japan established its identity through a central figure, the emperor. Based in the Yamamoto region, this system gave a scattered collection of communities a single belief to rally around. By 794, the capital in Kyoto became the center of a cultural golden age. But while the imperial court focused on art and poetry, they lost their grip on the provinces. Local landowners and warriors began filling the power vacuum. This disconnect forced a shift in loyalty. People stopped looking to the capital for titles and started following the military strength of the shoguns. Real authority moved from the court to the warriors who could actually enforce order. As the central government drifted into ceremony, the rise of the samurai provided a functional alternative. The nation traded inherited status for a system built on tangible strength and military strategy. That strength was soon tested by the Mongol Empire. Twice, Kublai Khan launched massive invasion fleets, and twice powerful storms destroyed the invaders before they could secure the island. The Japanese viewed these storms as kamikaze, the divine wind. It left the nation with a deep psychological conviction that their land was under special protection. That belief was challenged when Europeans arrived with firearms. Suddenly, the traditional warrior's reach looked extremely limited. A single rifleman could strike from a distance no swordsman could bridge, extending power far beyond individual talent. Japan saw that belief alone couldn't stop a bullet. If they wanted to survive, they had to master technology that could match or exceed the threats coming from the outside. After 1600, Tokugawa Ieyasu unified the country and decided that the best way to maintain peace was to stop the clock. He initiated Sakoku, a total lockdown. This removed the constant influx of foreign ideas and religious conflicts. Much like stepping away from modern information overload, it allowed the nation to focus entirely on its own internal development. During these 200 years of absolute silence, the country didn't stop moving. Instead, it refined its internal existing systems. Literacy rates quickly climbed, internal trade routes flourished, and discipline became deeply ingrained. This period of isolation acted as a pressure cooker. It forged a highly coordinated and disciplined society that was internally stable and culturally distinct. The silence ended abruptly in 1853. 4 American warships arrived in Edo Bay, their massive cannons aimed at the shore. Commodore Matthew Perry brought a clear message. Japan could open its doors and trade, or face a war it was not equipped to win. Japan's response was a feat of rapid engineering. In a few decades, they transitioned from a feudal society into an industrial power with modern railways, building massive factories, and a competitive navy. They achieved this speed by leveraging the discipline developed during their isolation. Because the entire country was already unified and highly educated, they could pivot as a single, focused unit toward industrialization. But the same focus that fueled their growth soon turned towards conquest. Japan began expanding its empire aggressively across Asia, eventually leading to a direct confrontation with the United States. The attack on Pearl Harbor committed Japan to a total war. They were now using their modern industrial machine to challenge the world's largest economies. By 1945, the nation's cities and industries lay in ruins. The technological progress they had fought so hard to achieve was physically erased across the landscape. The attempt to dominate the world through military technology had resulted in the total destruction of the nation's infrastructure. They were starting over with almost nothing. Instead of remaining in that state of collapse, Japan redirected its energy. They took the same discipline once used for expansion and applied it to precision manufacturing and consumer electronics. This technological focus fueled an economic surge, making Japan the world's second largest economy by 1968. They had rebuilt their global influence entirely through commerce. Japan's strength came from a specific cycle. They used isolation to build internal cohesion and discipline, then used that discipline to master external technology when the time was right. It suggests that the most effective way to handle a noisy, changing world isn't always to stay connected. Sometimes the most important preparation you can do is to step back and refine your